Welcome back. If you grew up with siblings, you know it's a very thin line between love and a brawl. You still love them though, right, while you're brawling? Siblings often fight, whether that's over toys, attention, who has the remote control. I mean, there's a number of things. Today, Katie Dilzell of the Parenting Center at Manning's Family Children's Hospital has tips on ways to reduce that sibling rivalry fighting. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Really, the first thing for parents to remember is they need to resist the urge to compare their children to one another.
Okay.
Oftentimes it starts when kids are still very young and meeting those early milestones like walking and talking. But as children get older, it can become problematic and can lead to jealousy and insecurity.
Sure.
So it's best just to avoid that altogether. Instead, you can focus on each child's unique talents and interests.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, because sometimes the sibling rivalry, it's something that's maybe a little bit more internal, and then maybe
it grows with them.
Yeah, you're like, you get that, but you get everything. So that's why, the fighting happens. So starting with parents, very interesting.
Yes. And another thing that parents can do is, kids often fight because they want attention from their parents. So you want to make sure that you're spending that one-on-one time with each child. If you have younger kids, you'll want to do it more frequently, like 15 minutes a day with each child. Look for ways to sort of build it into your daily routine, maybe story time at bedtime or bath time. As kids get a little bit older, you can reduce the frequency a few times a week. By the time they're approaching their teenage years, you might be lucky to do one-on-one time once or twice a month.
Sure.
So. But aside from that time, we know that kids also fight over space a lot of times. And not every family can give each child their own bedroom. So if your kids are sharing a room, it becomes even more important to help them carve out space that's just for them. Even if it's just a drawer or a shelf to keep their special belongings. And belongings are the other thing that kids often fight over.
Definitely my littles right now. Everybody's fighting over every little toy, even though they have millions of other toys. So how do we solve that?
Sure. Well, what I like to say is, obviously we want kids to learn how to share and to take turns, and they need practice doing these things. But it's also important to recognize those things that kids are not sharing. And think of those prized possessions like maybe a bike or a scooter. These are things that, each child is going to have their own special belongings that they don't share. But kids need to also learn to respect those boundaries. So that becomes really important.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, my daughters definitely have their own favorite baby dolls, and those are the ones that nobody else is allowed to touch. So trying to respect that. I love that.
Yes.
And you guys always offer a lot of help for parents and, free resources, and we're going to list some of them here. But for anyone who hasn't maybe taken a course with you guys before or anything, any, thing that you would like to tell them to encourage them?
Well, we try to cover a lot of different topics. Oftentimes it depends on the age of the child and sort of what your needs are. But if you can't attend a class, feel free to reach out via, phone or email, and we'll try and answer any questions or concerns that you have.
Yeah, I love that. And we listed a couple of those there. The Parenting Center, a great resource for parents. You can get in touch with them by calling the number on, there we go. It's on your screen now, 504-896-9591. They're also available online. And of course, we have all this linked on our website. Thanks so much for coming in.
All right, thank you.